Welcome. Thank you for joining us. You're watching Eye on Harvard, brought to you by InTimeTV. I'm Ogan Gurel. Eye on Harvard broadcasting worldwide, the world affecting Harvardians and Harvardians affecting the world. And today we have a very special show, a very special guest, David Wilhelm, known to many of you. Welcome, David.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I want to talk a little bit about your Harvard experience. You were at the Kennedy School,
Right,
a fellow at the
right.
Kennedy School. We'll get back to the politics shortly. Tell us a little bit about how that influenced you, your experience both as a student and later as a fellow.
As a fellow, well, I was part of the MPP program, 1978 to 1980, and how did it influence me? One way it influenced me was it was the first time I was in a big city for any length of time. I'd grown up in southeastern Ohio in a town called Athens, Ohio, home of Ohio University. Lived there all my life, was a townie as an undergraduate there. And certainly one big way Harvard influenced me was first time this small town kid was in a big city, and that was a good learning experience. Probably not what the Harvard trustees want me to say, but that was good. But you know, it certainly, you know, it forced me to compete at you know, a high level. I don't want to say I wasn't forced to compete prior to that, but the first year
Challenged you.
It challenged me. My first year was tough. You know, I'm not sure I read all the documents that I needed to read about the Kennedy School because I was not quite prepared for the quantitative nature of that program. I like to think I did all right. I graduated. I didn't graduate at the top of the class, but you know, I'm a good manager. I'm a good writer. You know, I'd like to think that. I've been told that. It's not for me to say, obviously. I don't want to sound conceited
We'll talk
here.
a little bit more right after the break.
Good.
You're watching David Wilhelm on Eye on Harvard. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Eye on Harvard. David is sort of smiling at the music transition here. We know it's the Harvard fight song. We talk about very, hopefully, substantive issues, and we have with your participation, certainly very important substantive issues, but, you know, life is not all that serious, so we have some funny stuff as well.
Right. Well, we were talking about the bright lights and the big city part for me.
Exactly.
After a challenging first year and the second year, at least then at the Kennedy School, you were more able to take to choose classes that you wanted to take.
Yeah.
It was I had a better and stronger academic year, and one of my big memories was I took a class in bureaucracy from James Q. Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Great class, great professor, renowned of course,
Exactly.
and a class that, you know, I was ready for and very engaged in, and you know, I got called on by him in class once, and I answered the question, and I must have answered it well because he stopped everything.
Really?
And he said, "What's your name,
That's good.
sir?"
Interesting.
And I
You had
told him,
a fresh outlook.
yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, I got called out in class, and that was a big deal. I also worked very closely with two professors at the Kennedy School. One, Steve Kellman, who is still there and teaches bureaucracy and at the Kennedy School. And the other, John Brock, who is no longer there, who taught management, public management, and I worked very closely with them. And I think the relationship that I had with those two professors are the things that I value most about my first stint at the Kennedy School.
Tell us a little bit. You are now at a more senior level as a fellow. Tell us about the.
Yeah,
second
then I got
stint.
brought back as a fellow at the Institute of Politics, and you know, that was very different because the Institute of Politics is not the sometimes quantitatively charged program of public policy. but I greatly enjoyed my time as a fellow. It was time to reflect. I had my family there. We teach a class. It's not a class that students take for credit, but students do come. I had about 85, 90 people every time for my class. And, you know, I sort of a fraud in a way, because I would invite people to teach the class on my behalf. So I would have Rahm Emanuel.
That's a benefit. So
yes, right. It was. It's part of what they expect you to do,
exactly.
frankly.
So
Rahm Emanuel came in. The late Eli Siegel, who was the founder of AmeriCorps, came in. Who else did I have? Oh, you know, the one person that I think students enjoyed most, I called and brought in my alderman from the city of Chicago, 44th Ward. You got it, Bernie Hansen.
Bernie Hansen.
And I think the students, and they're undergraduates that come in and take these classes from fellows like me, I think they got more of a kick out of him and the very pure, sometimes raw, but the pure commitment to public service that he represented. So, taking nothing away from my good friend Rahm Emanuel, Bernie Hansen, I think, really impressed those kids. I had John King come up, who's now with CNN, but it was a great experience, good time, you know, and I sat in on classes. I took classes at the Divinity School. So it was a great time.
Yeah, I did. You know, the Institute of Politics was great, and I did try to get out there and get involved in those events. I think it was really a great part of the university. In fact, I'm not surprised that the students took to Bernie Hansen so readily, because I think one of the concepts of the Kennedy School is really public service and developing leaders for public service.
Right. Yeah, I think so, and I hope so, and I believe that to be the case. I think what the students saw, here's a guy, got up every day, 5 a.m. You know, what was he doing? The you know, great legislative theories and solutions? No, he's fixing potholes, and he's doing the kind of stuff that people need to have done in order to have a good quality of life in the part of Chicago in which they live. So I think in his own way, you know, his life, his career represented a form of leadership in the public service, and that's a good thing.